Sandipane sakritprotam brahmaditya sadistaram tasmai pradadvaram putram vritam mritam pancha janodarat. Translation: The Lord learned all the Vedas with their different branches simply by hearing them once from his teacher Sandipani Muni, whom he rewarded by bringing back his dead son from the region of Yamaloka. Purport: No one but the Supreme Lord can become well versed in all the branches of Vedic wisdom simply by hearing once from his teacher. Nor can anyone bring back a dead body back to life after the soul has already gone to the region of Yamaraj. But Lord Krishna ventured to the planet of Yamloka and found the dead son of his teacher and brought him back to his father as a reward for the instructions received. The Lord is constitutionally well versed in all the Vedas, and yet to teach by example that everyone must go to learn the Vedas from an authorized teacher and must satisfy the teacher by service and reward, he himself adopted this system. The Lord offered his services to his teacher Sandipani Muni, and the Muni, knowing the power of the Lord, asked something which was impossible to be done by anyone else. The teacher asked that his beloved son who had died be brought back to him, and the Lord fulfilled the request. The Lord is not, therefore, an ingrate to anyone who renders him some sort of service. The devotees of the Lord who always engage in his loving service are never to be disappointed in the progressive march of devotional service. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So a very warm welcome to all the devotees who have come today for the for our weekly satsang, fortnightly satsang program. We are very grateful to those who have joined online as well. So We're having, and it's very wonderful to see a filled up room right at the start. Normally when I open my eyes, there are like 7 people. Today there are like 30 people. So thank you for coming on time. Thank you for those who have come for the first time and those who have come on time. Hare Krishna. So we have been discussing from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The second chapter was where Vidura has met with Uddhav, and he is asked about, that now this is after the whole Mahabharata, everything is over, and 36 years have passed since the war is over, and Vidura has left. He's left long back. He's left, and he's been on a pilgrimage, and then he meets Uddhava, and when he meets Uddhava, he has already heard when he passed through Prabhashetra, when he's going on his pilgrimage of the country, when he's going to Prabhashetra, there he has heard that Krishna and all the Yadavas have gone, they have left this world, already gone. And then he comes to Vrindavan where he meets with Uddhav. And in that interaction with Uddhav, he again asks, tell me about the welfare of Krishna and the Yadavas and the Pandavas. And Uddhava, instead of talking directly that, now Krishna has left this world and this world is bereft of the association of the Supreme Lord. Instead of that, he starts talking about the whole life of Krishna, the whole from his childhood, So therefore, we also felt that it's a good opportunity for us also to pause and talk about the pastimes of Krishna right from his childhood. And we've been through some of right from his appearance to through some of the childhood pastimes. And last time we were discussing about killing of Kamsa. Right before that, we discussed Govardhan Leela, where he held the Govardhan Parvat for 7 days, 7 nights. And last time we discussed about killing of Kamsa. For those of you who remember, there was a very long build-up to that. The build-up to the pastime in the Krishna book. Krishna book is a summary of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam has got 12 cantos. Out of those 12 cantos, the 10th canto specifically and exclusively refers to the pastimes of Krishna. That's it. And the Krishna book, I don't know if it's here, but the Krishna book is like a summary of the entire 10th canto. It's like a summary study of the entire 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in story form. So in Krishna book, there are like 7 chapters which are the build-up to Kamsa being killed. And then Kamsa has killed like one verse. Krishna jumped on his chest, beat him 3 times, and he died. That's it. Right? It was very abrupt. When we ended there, we said that there are 1 or 2 things, 1 or 2 stories that remained. So I'll just quickly cover those. And then we discussed today that what happened after Kamsa was killed. This is interesting, right? Because, we know that Krishna came from Vrindavan to Mathura. He was brought by Akrura. We discussed that also. The consciousness of Akrura, the consciousness of the gopis who are seeing Krishna going away and what pain they are in because of, the love that they have for Krishna. So now what happens is after Kamsa, so Krishna has fought with Chanura, big wrestler. And then Balram has fought with Mushtaka, another big wrestler. And this massive fight happens. And then after they kill Chanura and Mushtik, then Krishna goes, drags Kamsa down to the wrestling arena from his seat, drags him by his hair. So it was described, remember last time we said that because Kamsa pulled Devaki by her hair to kill her, so Krishna reciprocated. Acha, mere maa ko aisa kiya, main aapko aisa karta. So he pulled him by his hair, dragged him down, and then he killed him. After he killed him, one sweet thing happened that the Gopa friends of Krishna, who had come from Vrindavan along with Krishna, they had also come. Ki dekhte hain kya hota hai wrestling match mein, kya hum bhi dekhte hain. So they saw. Now they used to fight with Krishna on a daily basis. Unka ye forest mein jaate the. They used to play with the ball. They used to play catch. They used to play wrestling and so on. And many times Krishna would be defeated by Hare Krishna. Mike is one. Hare Krishna. Many times Krishna in the wrestling matches, he would be defeated by Sridama. Sridama is the brother of Srimati Radharani. So when they would fight wrestling match, Sridama would win. And it's not that Krishna is pretending, because when he is with his Brajvasi friends, They don't feel that he is Supreme Lord. He also doesn't feel. He feels he is one of them only, and he is fighting with them. फुल फाइट मार रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि वो ऐसा चलो मैं थोड़ा प्रिटेंड करता हूँ कि मैं I will just pretend as though I'm fighting, then I'll lose. No, he wants to win because he knows if he loses, he'll have to carry Sridhama on his shoulder. That is the punishment. That you lost, carry him on my shoulder. So he doesn't want to. So he's really trying hard, but still Sridhama is more powerful because Sridhama doesn't know he's God, and Sridhama defeats him. So now, after seeing that, Krishna has killed this Chanur and Balram has killed Mushtik, and then Krishna kills this powerful king, Kamsa, just drags him down and kills him like that so easily, just 3 बार मारा मर गया. ये हमारा ही कृष्णा है, कुछ गड़बड़ है. This doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. They're like, it's not adding up. ये कैसा हो सकता है? हमारा कन्हैया नहीं है. So Sridhama says, मैं जाके जरा check करके आता हूँ, जरा quality control करके आता हूँ. So he goes and he challenges, चलो, I want to fight with you. And Krishna says, okay, हो जाए. And they start fighting. And Krishna full fight मारता है, but still Sridhama wins. And after Sridhama wins, he says, हाँ, ये तो अपना ही कन्हैया है. अपना ही है. So that's one very sweet pastime that happens afterwards. Now, after this happens, another thing that happens is Krishna, Nanda Maharaj has also come there, and some of the other elder Gopas have also come. So Krishna, he releases his parents from prison and various things happen. But before that, he goes and speaks to Nanda Maharaj. I mean, after that, he speaks to Nanda Maharaj and he tells Nanda Maharaj that, see, I have been living with you for the last 11, 12 years. And my parents, Vasudev and Devaki, they haven't had the opportunity to, be with me. They haven't seen my childhood. So now I'll stay with them. I'll make them happy. उनको मैं प्रसन्न करता हूँ. And then उसके बाद I'll come again to Vrindavan. So now you imagine Nanda Maharaj, who loves Krishna so much. We have discussed about the Vatsalya Ras in previous discussions. That what is this Vatsalya Ras? Like the ordinary parents of this world, वो बच्चे से कितना प्यार करते हैं. Everyone loves their child very much, right? There is I've said this before, that there is a saying in Kannada, which I don't know the saying, but I'll refer to that saying. Our Ganesh Prabhu is not here, otherwise he would have said it. So there is a saying in Kannada which says that जो घूस रहता है ना, घूस जानते हैं सब लोग? Fat, वो बड़ा जो चूहा रहता है. The chuha itself is not a very beautiful creature to see. At least for humans, we don't find chuha very beautiful. उसमें वो जो घूस रहता है ना, very hairy, very big, और भी गंदा दिखता है, not good looking at all. लेकिन घूस का जो बच्चा है ना, घूस को वो बच्चा जो है वो चांद जैसा सुंदर लगता है. You can imagine ना, घूस का बच्चा कितना, how ugly it will be, but वो घूस को वो बच्चा जो है चांद जैसा लगता है. So all parents are naturally very attached to their children till they grow up. That's another matter. But when they are small, everyone loves their children. Illogically they love their children. So you can imagine, if everyone loves their child, what to speak of Krishna? All attractive, supreme personality of Godhead, who is so beautiful, Madan Mohan. Today Sridhama Prabhu in the Bhagavatam class, he was speaking about the fact that Madan, Cupid, attracts everyone in this world. Krishna attracted Madan, so he's called Madan Mohan. He's so beautiful. Just to be with that person, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who by his sweet nature is attracting the hearts. We chanted at the beginning of prayer, right? Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Vrajajana Ranjan means what? The Vrajajan, the people staying in Vraja. Ranjan, he just attracts their heart. The meaning of Krishna is Sarva Akarshayati iti Krishna. So when we say that Krishna is God, Supreme Personality of Godhead, someone may take objection. What do you mean Krishna is God? But if we say God is Krishna, that makes more sense. That God is all attractive. Why is he all attractive? If someone is very beautiful, very cute, little beautiful, everyone gets attracted. If someone is very wealthy, Mukesh Ambani, Jeff Bezos, are they good looking? Not really. But if Mukesh Ambani comes, suddenly वो ऐसा सब लोग खड़े हो जाते हैं. Looks very attractive. Why? Just because he is one opulence of riches. Someone is very powerful, well built, very strong. भिखारी रहेगा, but very well built, not very well to do, but very well built. देखते ही लोग ऐसा, अरे क्या powerful body है इसका. So even one opulence someone has in decent measure, they become attractive. What to speak of God who has all opulences, all beauty, fame, knowledge, wealth, strength, renunciation, all in unlimited measure. How attractive he'll be. He'll be all attractive. All attractive means Krishna. So Krishna is so all attractive. So imagine how much attachment Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai had for him. Now, we have discussed last time also that even for one day, every day Krishna would take his cows and he would go to the forest with his friends. Every day. सुबह निकलते थे, शाम को आते थे. Morning when he is leaving, Mother Yashoda would delay as much as possible. थोड़ा उसको लटका के रखते हैं. उसका dressing, श्रृंगार, थोड़ा she would take longer. Why? So that, he can be with me for longer. And वहां पे Krishna's friends are saying, चल चल चल, time हो गया, चल चल, let's go. And Krishna is, telling Mother Yashoda, जल्दी करो, मेरे को जाना है. And Yashoda, slowly she's just saying, very prem, because she wants to be with him. And finally, when he leaves to the forest, they are in great anxiety when he will come back. It's almost as though their soul has left the body. शरीर से आत्मा निकल गया, उतना उनको तकलीफ होता है जब कृष्णा कुछ घंटों के लिए चले जाते हैं. Now you imagine, Krishna tells Nanda Maharaj that I'll be here for a few days. Just मेरे parents को मैं थोड़ा खुश करके फिर आता हूँ. I want to satisfy them. Nanda Maharaj is devastated. But what to do? Krishna has told him, I'll have to stay. What he'll say? The real parents are there. I am my foster father. How I will argue? So he says, okay. And he goes back. And when he goes back, he's like, you imagine a person who is now, he's thinking in his mind, पता नहीं कब वापस आएंगे नहीं आएंगे, but बोला तो है आएंगे. He has promised he will come. He will surely come. So when he goes back, he enters the home in Vrindavan. He enters the home, and Yashoda Mai, she hears him coming, and she says that, "Arey, aa gaye aap? Where are my Krishna and Balaram? I made nice, nice food for them. Chalo, unko leke aao." So now Nanda Maharaj says that, no, actually, they have not come with me. She says, "Kya mazak kar rahe ho? Leke aao unko. Bring them fast." So he says, no, they have really not come. She says, please, aisa mazak mat karo. I don't like, I don't appreciate, like, a lot of, women, they sometimes don't appreciate the jokes of their husband. They don't, they will say, yaar, apna joke apne paas rakh, like that. So, she's saying that, no, where are they? So then Nanda Maharaj explains to her, this is what happened. Actually, I was thinking I'll bring him back. But then he said he wants to stay back because actually Vasudev and Devaki are his real parents and they have never seen his childhood. So he wants to serve them for some time and then come. She said, "Unhone bol diya aur aapne maan liya? How you accepted? You should have brought him back." He said, "But how I'll bring him back? He doesn't want to come. He's saying he'll stay there. Mujhe kuch nahi malum. You should have brought him back. You should have brought. How you didn't come back? How you came back empty-handed like this?" And then Nanda Maharaj is trying to convince her, and Yashoda Mai is getting more and more agitated. Finally, she tells him that you have no love for Krishna. आपके हृदय में उनके लिए एक लेश भर का भी प्रेम नहीं है, उसीलिए आपने उनको वहां पे छोड़ के आ गए. There is no love in your heart. He says, "Arey, how you saying this? I love him more than my own life. How you saying I had no love for him?" She says, "You have no love. You see, when Lord Ram, when he went to the forest, Dashrath, he gave up his body because he was in so much separation from Lord Ram. He could not tolerate that separation for 1 minute also. And that pain of separation was so much, he left his body. You are still alive. You are still alive. What love you have for Krishna?" She says this, and then she realizes what she has just said, and she falls unconscious. And then, Nanda Maharaj is also already is in so much pain and so much chastisement by his wife, right? When really he also is in equal pain as her. But still, he has to listen to her because she is, she's kind of venting her, her pain, her vipralamba, that pain of separation from Krishna. And then, finally he brings her back to consciousness and he tells her, let's see, Yashoda, what you're saying is correct. That the pain of separation, that Krishna is not coming back, is so much that I wanted to give up my body there and then. I felt as though my soul is leaving my body. But Krishna said that he will come back. He said, he promised that he will come back. Now, if he comes back, and if you and I have given up our bodies out of pain of separation, when he comes, who will feed him? Who will serve him? Who will greet him with sweet, kind words? If we give up our bodies, how will we serve him? Because of this thought, I did not give up my body. So this is love. This is the love in separation that the Brajvasis have. It is the highest, most exalted sentiment on this earth. You have to understand that nothing on this earth, no love on this earth compares to the love that the Brajvasis have for Krishna. So now, after this happens, right, this whole pastime has happened. Krishna, after he sees, he's killed Kamsa. Last time we discussed, the verse says that, Yashoda and Vasudev, they are worried कि बाबा ये कमसा फिर से उठ के खड़ा तो नहीं हो जाएगा. So therefore Krishna drags him through the arena, his dead body, to show that नहीं ये तो मर गया, he's over, का कहानी खत्म, right? Kamsa is over. So then he goes and he releases his mother and father, Yashoda, Vasudev and Devaki. He releases them, they're in chains. He releases them. He releases Ujjain Maharaj, who is his grandfather. He releases him also. And when he releases, right? Now this is very interesting. We have discussed several months back the appearance of Krishna. When Krishna appeared in the jail, right? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjuna. So he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam. He says, my birth and activities are transcendental. Don't see them as some ordinary birth of some powerful entity. No, he is not an ordinary entity. He is not even an extraordinary entity. He is not some empowered, some powerful politician, very intelligent, cunning person. No, he is the Supreme Lord. Very next verse he says, just the previous verse he has said that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata is, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He's already said that. And next verse he says this, that my birth and activities are transcendental. So in his birth, he's born in a jail, but he's born with forearm, chaturbhuj, forearms with full clothes and everything, right? And then he takes the form of a baby because Devaki requests him. So Devaki and Vasudev have already seen Krishna in that form. So they know he's not our child, so to say, right? So when Krishna comes in front of them, they stand up. जैसा कोई बड़ा व्यक्ति आता है, कोई बिग शॉट आता है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली लोग खड़े हो जाते हैं ना. अभी जब सपोज नरेंद्र मोदी वॉक्स इन और योर सीएमडी वॉक्स इन ओवर हियर, बीपीसीएल, एचपीसीएल, सीएमडी वॉक्स इन, सब खड़े हो जाएंगे ना. कोई जरूरत है उन्हें बोला खड़े रहो? नहीं बोला, लेकिन जस्ट आउट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट सब खड़े हो जाते. बड़ा आदमी है. वैसे ही कृष्णा केम इन फ्रंट ऑफ देम, दे स्टूड अप. वसुदेव एंड देवकी स्टूड अप विद देयर आर्म्स फोल्डेड लाइक दिस. नाउ कृष्णा, see, he doesn't enjoy this. उनको ये जो especially with his intimate devotees, Krishna does not enjoy this, Aishwarya Bhav. He doesn't like it. He says, Aishwarya Bhav is for others, but for my intimate, my mother, father, friends, brothers, sisters, for them, I don't want this Aishwarya Bhav. Don't treat me like I am God. Treat me like I am your son. So he covers their, their consciousness with Yogamaya. It is described that they are covered with Yogamaya, due to which their bhava, their emotion, their sentiment towards him changes from Aishwarya, which is, oh God, you're so great, you're the controller of everything, to, oh, you are my son. And yes, Devaki, she sees Krishna, and Krishna speaks such sweet words. In the Bhagavatam, it is described that how he glorifies his mother and father. He glorifies them. He speaks beautiful words. He says that the sacrifice that you have made is unimaginable. See, we feel sometimes, as parents, अपने बच्चों को हम लोग हमेशा जताते हैं ना. All the children, young ones over here would know, that your parents always tell you कि तुम्हें पता है तुम्हारे लिए हमने कितना sacrifice किया है, तुम्हें पता भी नहीं है, हमने कितना fight मारा है तुम्हारे लिए. So, so children are always subjected to these things, right? Parents tell them how much we had to go through because of you. And maybe true also. सच भी होगा कि parents generally बच्चों को पैदा करना itself is not an easy job. And उनको बड़ा करना बड़ा कठिन काम. For those who are children, no, only when they become parents they will realize. Till then उनको कभी वो theoretically लगता है, हाँ हम तो ऐसे ही बड़े हो गए. But when they grow up they really realize. My mother, when I was a child, my mother, she used to tell me कि तू अपने आप को बहुत बहुत great समझता है ना. When you have children you will realize. You think you are a wonderful child, but when you have children and they are like you, then you will understand. अब मुझे full realization. Now I have full साक्षात्कार of this. So like that, he glorifies their sacrifice. What is their sacrifice? Not that they have just given birth to him. No. Devaki and Vasudev, what is their sacrifice? Devaki, when they were married, when they were getting married, there was an Akashvani, right? Kamsa was driving the chariot of his sister. Ki, I will take my sister to her husband's place. I'll be the chariot driver. उतना प्रेम था अपनी बहन के लिए. But there was an Akashvani which said, आपकी बहन की जो आठवीं संतान है, वो आपके मौत का कारण बनेगी. You will die by the 8th child of your sister. Immediately about turn, 180-degree turn ले लिया उन्होंने. Immediately he grabbed the hair of Devaki, he pulled out his sword and he was about to lop off her head. But then Vasudev somehow stopped him. He convinced him. पूरा उसको भगवत गीता का philosophy पता है कि बाबा तू ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है. Plus उसको he told him social norms and so many things he did to convince him. And finally he promised him कि देख, you are nothing against your sister. Your sister is not going to kill you. Her 8th child, I promise you, every child as they are born, I will bring the child to you. मैं बच्चा तुम्हारे सामने ला के रखूं तो तुमको क्या रिस्क है, right? Don't worry. So then he agrees. Now imagine the situation of Vasudev and Devaki. ऐसा नहीं बोला था कि आपका पहला बच्चा उनके मौत का कारण बनेगा, आपका 8वां बच्चा. They give birth to the first child. And Devaki gives birth to a child, and then immediately Vasudev takes the child and goes to Kamsa. And Kamsa, when he sees Vasudev coming with that child, Kamsa's heart melts. He says, "अरे, तुम लोग क्या honor है तुम लोग का यार, amazing. तुम बच्चे को लेके आ गए मेरे सामने. What? You're a man of honor, amazing." He says, "I have no risk from your first child. तुम लेके जाओ बच्चे को, कोई problem नहीं है, लेके जाओ." So Vasudev takes, but Vasudev knows that a man who has no control over his senses cannot be trusted. This is true today also, right? A person who has no control over the senses cannot be trusted, because जैसे ही उसका sense, man or woman both, जैसे ही उनका sense gratification comes into threat, immediately वो लोग का mind पलट जाता है. So while he thought that okay, this one is giving me a chance to take my child, but he knew that this is short-lived. So then Narad Muni comes in front of Kamsa, and Narad Muni, he wants to accelerate things. See, हम लोग नारद मुनि को सब गलत समझते हैं. We feel कि नारद मुनि ऐसा वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, आग लगाने वाले व्यक्ति हैं, ऐसा आके ऐसा काड़ी लगाते हैं और फिर आग लग जाता है. No. Narad Muni is a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is there from start to finish. In almost every story, every pastime, every alternate story, Narad Muni is there. कोई ना कोई उनका योगदान है हर story में, right? So Narad Muni, what is his job? His job is to accelerate the Lord's descent. When Krishna says paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanaya thaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I will come in every millennium. I will come. But you come fast, Baba. ये सब कमसा हमसा का काम तमाम करो, जल्दी आ जाओ. So he knows that if this happens, that Kamsa is very comfortable. 8वां बच्चा ना, ये बच्चे को छोड़ दो, कोई problem नहीं है. So Kamsa, what he so then the impetus to have a second child, third child, fourth child for Vasudev and Devaki is zero. क्यों करेंगे? पहला बच्चा, let them enjoy for a few years, then बाद में दूसरा बच्चा सोचेंगे. No. Narad Muni goes and he tells Kamsa, he takes a flower. यहाँ पे flower नहीं है कोई, but anyway, he takes a flower and वो flower का, he says, वो जो aster का flower रहता है ना, जिसका अलग अलग ऐसा petals रहता है around. So he says, a sunflower, he takes one petal and he throws. Okay? So he throws the petal and he says, Kamsa, ये पहला petal है कि 8वां petal है? Kamsa immediately doubt में आ जाता है. बोलते हैं कि ये पहला पेटल है कि 8वां, को ये गोल है. एंड ये नारायण जो है ना, विष्णु जो है, ये भी गोल ही है, बड़े गोल है. डोंट ट्रस्ट, डोंट हैव फेथ इन वर्ड्स ऑफ विष्णु. ही इज एनिमी ऑफ द डीमंस. वो कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ जरूर कर रहे होंगे. डोंट हैव फेथ. आई हैव हर्ड. कितना, मतलब हाउ मच ही गिव्स एक्स्ट्रा इंफॉर्मेशन टू एंश्योर दैट Kamsa is fully convinced. He tells him, I have heard that the demigods are taking birth in the family of the Vrishnis and the Yadus. They are taking birth so that तुम्हारा संहार हो सके. तुम रिस्क जरा भी मत लो. पता नहीं कौन जन्म ले रहा है in Devaki's womb. जरा भी रिस्क मत लो. So immediately he goes. Kamsa says, yes, point taken. Immediate action. He goes to the prison. He goes to the place where Vasudev and Devaki are there. He grabs the child of Devaki from her hand, and in front of her he smashes that child and he imprisons both of them. Right? So now one cannot even imagine what is the pain, right? If we have a child, अभी वो child कभी-कभी, very rarely it happens, but a child is stillborn. Right? How much pain is there if a child is stillborn? If the child is born and dies before the parents, right? वो बोलते हैं ना कि इस दुनिया में इससे बड़ा कोई बोझ नहीं है, than taking the child's कंधे को लेके जाना. The biggest बोझ for a parent. Very painful. Child dies in front. Now imagine being brutally killed in front of your eyes mercilessly. What kind of pain Vasudeva and Devaki have gone through? But what is their service? We have to produce the second child. We have to produce the third child. We have to produce the fourth child, fifth child, sixth child, seventh, and eighth. 7 children they have to produce, knowing fully well, as soon as the child is born, this demon is going to come and smash that child. What a horrible, ghastly way for a child to die. This is what they have gone through. And Krishna now is remembering and he's saying, this is the sacrifice you have made for me to come. All glories to you. So he glorifies them. So therefore, you have to understand that these characters that are there in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are not, ordinary people like you and me. They're not. They are extraordinary devotees of the Lord who have made extraordinary sacrifice. They have gone through so much pain. Why? Just for the Lord's pleasure. Right? So Krishna glorifies their sacrifice and he thanks them. He says that, one of the verses Krishna says, he gives lessons on how to serve parents. If we have our parents are still alive, he gives lessons on how to serve them. He says that whatever activities we do with this body, we're very proud, no? कि मैं सॉफ्टवेयर लिखता है, मैं प्लांट चलाता है, मैं क्वालिटी कंट्रोल देखता है, मैं ये करता है, मैं वो करता है. We're so proud of the things that we do, right? It is good. It's all right. I mean, you're doing wonderful stuff. Very good. Congratulations. However, we have to understand what Krishna says is, whatever activities we do with this body is because this body has been given to us by the parents. If the parents had not gone through the sacrifice of giving birth to us, हम क्या उखाड़ लेते? What would we do? Our parents have prayed for us and they have given birth to us. They have nourished us from our sickly state to what itna bada sharir today. Therefore, he says, Krishna is saying this. Krishna is saying, we cannot repay this debt of our parents even by serving them for 100 years. Even if you are serving your parents, you will not end up serving normally because in Kali Yuga, no one lives that long. But even if your parents, you serve them for 100 years, it is not sufficient to repay the debts. Another interesting concept, every year in September time when this Pitru Paksh comes, Pitru Paksh, everyone is aware of Pitru Paksh? Huh? भाद्रपद महीने में ओके आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट बट भाद्रपद ओके सो पितृ पक्ष में हम लोग क्या करते हैं वी डू सम तर्पण फॉर होम एंसेस्टर्स फॉर टुडेज यूथ वी आर सो डिस्कनेक्टेड फ्रॉम कल्चर अपने को ये लगता है क्या है व्हाट इज ऑल दिस क्या हम लोग एंसेस्टर्स का क्या अभी मालूम क्या इवन इफ वी एक्सेप्ट दैट वी आर नॉट दिस बॉडी वी आर द सोल इज इटर्नल पता नहीं अभी वो लोग कौन से शरीर में है हम कौन से शरीर में है क्या वास्ता क्या लेना देना व्हाई आर डूइंग दिस वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड वी शुड नेवर फॉरगेट व्हाट आवर एंसेस्टर्स हैव डन फॉर अस यू से व्हाट दे डन फॉर मी मेरे लिए क्या किया अरे सब कुछ तो किया है बिकॉज़ योर ग्रेट ग्रेट ग्रैंडफादर because he gave birth to your grandfather. Therefore, your grandfather, who was my grandfather, my great grandfather, I don't even know who he was. I just know his name, right? His name was Ganesh. My father's name was Devidas. So Devidas Osangdi, who was deputy collector in Karnataka state, got transferred to Mumbai because he was very honest and very good. He got transferred to Mumbai just after independence. 1950, सब बेच बाज के गांव में they came to Mumbai. Because he came to Mumbai, therefore I am in Mumbai. Otherwise, I might have been in Karnataka. I came to so someone somewhere 50 years ago, 200 years ago has made some sacrifice. The boon and the benefit of which you are receiving today. Be grateful, right? So like that. So he says we cannot repay their debt even by serving them for 100 years. This is very interesting. Sometimes, when we were coming, Lata Mataji and I were just discussing on the way that serving parents, right? Sometimes our parents grow to be old, right? If they grow to be 75, 80, 85. So now they have grandchildren. Grandchildren have grown up. Grandchildren are starting to get married. Great grandchildren are coming. But they are still alive and well, or sometimes they are not well, right? Or Covid Prabhu is not here today. He's not here. Char Dham Yatra, yes. So Covid Prabhu's father, for example, was 94 or 95 years old when he left his body. But till his last day, Covid Prabhu was serving him lovingly. He never saw that ये बोझ है. हम लोग का क्या होता है? We are so accustomed to this fast life that we have today. We become desensitized. हमें लगता है कि यार ये है ठीक है बट अभी कब तक रहेंगे कब तक मेरे को सेवा करना पड़ेगा नहीं they become indisposed तो और ज्यादा तकलीफ जो केयर गिवर है उनको बहुत तकलीफ होता है because they are not able to control their stools, they are not able to control everything has to be done for them. But what is Krishna saying? 100 years सेवा करो तो भी कम तो बस ये शरीर आपको मिला है उनकी बदौलत. And then he makes another interesting statement. Krishna says, so he says, see, that's what this scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, we should not take it कि ये खाली कुछ story वोरी है, interesting, मजेदार, दिलचस्प story है. नहीं, there are so many lessons. Krishna himself gives so many lessons. He says that one who has the capacity to serve and protect his parents, his wife, his children, his guru. You have the capacity to serve your parents, your wife, your children, your guru. You have the capacity, but you don't serve. It says you are as good as a dead body. मतलब तुम जिंदा रह के भी तुम क्या उखाड़ लिया? अपने माँ बाप का सेवा नहीं कर रहे हैं, अपने बच्चों का सेवा नहीं कर रहे हैं, अपनी पत्नी का सेवा नहीं कर रहे हैं, या पति जो भी है, राइट? What is the point? You are alive, but your husband is a dead body. This Krishna is saying, right? So this is, very important that even when Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he also recognizes the service that is done by his parents, the sacrifice made by his parents. And he makes it a point to tell them. He makes it a point to glorify them, thank them, and then he speaks in such sweet, childlike words that immediately Mother Devaki is completely overwhelmed, and she embraces him. That Vatsalya Bhav takes over. She embraces him. And then after that, Krishna, he releases Ugrasen as the king. So he releases Ugrasen. Now Ugrasen is the grandfather. He's Kamsa's father, right? And he has been imprisoned by Kamsa. Like, what happened 500 years back when Aurangzeb imprisoned Shahjahan. Shahjahan, right? Huh? I don't remember. Huh? No, Akbar. Shahjahan. I think Shahjahan was the father of Aurangzeb. Shahjahan. Mera geography thoda weak. So, so he what he did was he captured Ugrasen and he put him in jail. So after he put him in jail, now Krishna comes 12 years later and he releases Ugrasen. Now he is the one who killed Kamsa. He is the one who killed Kamsa's brothers. So after killing Kamsa, Kamsa's brothers come, unko bhi maar de. So now logically, who should be the king? Krishna, he is the one who did it. No, he says, "Oh dear king, you will be on the throne now. You please sit on the throne. You rule the kingdom. You rule this kingdom." So Ugrasen protests. He said, "Arey, how I can rule? You have to rule. You killed him. You are the powerful one here. You rule, no? We are happy to be ruled by you. You are Supreme Lord. हम लोग तो खुशी से आपके rule में रहेंगे." Krishna says, "No, actually, no. I am Yadu. I am a Yadu, and my ancestor Yayati, he had cursed the Yadus that none of your descendants will ever sit on the throne. Many generations back की कहानी है." But Krishna respects that. He says, नहीं, उन्होंने कर्स दिया था, मतलब ये कर्स अभी भी applicable है. So therefore, I am Yadu, so I will not sit on the throne. You sit on the throne, right? Now the interesting part is Ugrasen is also Yadu. So now he is sitting on the throne because the Supreme Lord has ordered him to sit. Therefore, he can sit. Right? It can overrule the curse given by Yayati also. So he makes Ugrasen sit on the throne. Now, one interesting thing that we can learn from this, right? We spoke about different opulences of Krishna. Renunciation. Today morning again, Shridhama Prabhu in the Bhagavatam class in the temple, he spoke about the renunciation of Krishna. That how Krishna is not attached. He has 16,108 wives, all beautiful like Lakshmi Devi, but he is not attached to them. They are attached to him, but he's Atmaram. So this Krishna, he is also showing his opulence of renunciation. How? Because even though he could have been the king, and Ugrasen offered also, he says, "No, you be the king." And in his many incarnations, Krishna has shown the same thing. Even as Lord Ramchandra, when Vibhishan came and Vibhishan Sharanagati, right? Vibhishan came and completely surrendered to Lord Ram. That Lord Ram, I take shelter at your lotus feet now. I have left Ravan, right? That time, what does Lord Ram call Vibhishan? Anyone knows what is the name he calls him? Huh? He calls him Lankesh, Lankadipati or Lankesh. He calls him Lankesh. One of my clients, उसका sales के team में एक बंदा था जिसका नाम था Lankesh. So most people feel Lankesh is Ravan. कौन अपने बच्चे का नाम Lankesh रखेगा? But no, that Lankesh is Vibhishan, who is a pure devotee of Lord Ram. So Lankesh, वो जो उनको पहले ही Lankesh बोल देते हैं. Why? Because it is already established that Lord Ram is going to kill Ravan. It's a matter of time. Only time is separating. जरूर उनको मारने वाले. So जब वो उनको मारेंगे, तब Vibhishan Lankesh बनेंगे, right? So Lord Ram also, after killing Ravan, he could have said, "I will be the, you will be Ayodhya. You may be king of Ayodhya. You may be king of Lanka, but Lanka will report to Ayodhya because I am going to be king of Ayodhya." is completely detached. Completely detached. He says, Vibhishan, you are Lankesh, Lankapati, you be here, you rule the kingdom. That's it. And then he leaves from there. When he leaves, and when he's going back, when Lord Ram is going back to Ayodhya, he's flying in Pushpak Viman. At one point, he stops. They stop to meet various people along the way. So he tells Hanuman, Hanuman, आप ना थोड़ा आगे जाओ. And Bharat जो है ना, see Bharat, everyone knows the story of Bharat, what Bharat went through. I'll not go into it because we don't have this time. But Bharat went through a lot of pain, right? Because he was accused by so many people कि तेरी वजह से ये षड्यंत्र हुआ. You are part of the षड्यंत्र due to which Lord Ram had to go to the forest. Who blames him? Mother Kaushalya. Then the minister, Vasishta Muni, Bharadwaj Muni, everyone blames him. Lakshman also blames. सब लोग उसको blame कर रहे. And he is like, no, I don't want this kingdom. I have come to bring Lord Ram back. Right? He is in so much pain. And in that pain, he insists to Lord Ram, you must come back and you must, मेरे को कुछ नहीं सुनना. बस, you are the king. बस finished. I have agreed. Okay, I was made king. I accepted. Now I am making you king. You please come back. Lord Ram says, no, I will not come. It's a full renunciation. Lord is fully renounced. He says, no, that was my father's instruction. You will be the king, so you will be the king. So then finally Bharat says, okay, 14 years I will rule the kingdom on your behalf. You give me your paduka, give me your footwear. I will keep that on the throne and I will rule the kingdom in your name. So after 14 years have passed, Lord Ram tells Hanuman, आप जरा जाके एक रेकी करो. Just go and see whether Bharat has even slight. You go and tell him that I have killed Ravan and now I'm on my way back and I will be reaching like tomorrow. कल तक मैं पहुंच जाऊंगा. And you please observe the expression on his face when you tell him that. उनके चेहरे को देखो and see what is his expression. अगर आपको उनके आंखों में जरा सा भी little bit also you see a regret in his face. अच्छा, he's coming back. इतने जल्दी 14 साल खत्म हो गए. You see a little bit of regret. You come and tell me I'll not go back. Because Lord Ram is fully renounced. He is not attached to the kingdom at all, right? So renunciation the Lord shows. Even Krishna, after killing Jarasandha, so he went with Bhima and Arjuna and they killed Jarasandha, right? After killing Jarasandha, Jarasandha was the most powerful king and the last remaining impediment for Yudhishthira to do the Rajasuya Yagya. But after killing Jarasandha, Krishna didn't say कि अच्छा भाई अभी मार दिया ना, चल अभी हम इधर बैठेगा. No, Jarasandha was a very powerful king. But what did Krishna do? He made the son of Jarasandha the king. He established and said that your allegiance is now to Yudhishthira, but you rule this kingdom. This is your kingdom. This is the Lord. So the Lord shows his opulence of renunciation. Even after the Mahabharata war was over, who orchestrated it? Who organized it? Who made it happen? In the Gita, in the 11th chapter, he tells Arjuna, Nimitta Matra Bhava Sabyasachi. He says that you just be the instrument. I have already killed all these people. Just you take the yash, you take the fame. I have already killed them. Don't worry. Right? Just be the instrument. But still, after the war is over, he doesn't tell Yudhishthir, hey, सब कुछ मैंने किया क्या? भीष्म को किसने मारा? मैंने मरवाया. द्रोणा को किसने मरवाया? मैंने मरवाया. सब प्लानिंग मेरा, सब आइडिया मेरा. तुम लोग खाली इतना कुछ तीर वीर चला है, सब मैंने ही किया है. तो अभी तुम सब हटो भाई. अभी मैं king. No. What is happening today in our glorious land of Maharashtra? What is happening? A big fight for the battle, for the seat, right? Seat के पूरा झगड़ा हो रहा है. But the Lord shows his renunciation that no problem. He makes Yudhishthira the emperor and he goes back to Dwarka, right? He reports to Yudhishthira. When Yudhishthira comes, he calls him Bade Bhaiya, you are my elder brother. He pays obeisances to Yudhishthira. This is Krishna. He doesn't treat himself. He doesn't see, like we take ourselves so seriously, sometimes हम लोग अपने आप को बहुत कुछ important समझते हैं. कि मैं तो बहुत great हूँ, आपको पता है मैं कौन हूँ. Like वो दिल्ली का language है ना जो कोई किसी को रोकता है सिग्नल, ओ तू जानता नहीं मैं कौन हूँ, जानता नहीं मैं कौन, मेरा पहुंच कहाँ तक है, right? Immediately we are so quick. See, we may not do that, right? As devotees or as aspiring devotees, हमको अगर कोई बोले कुछ तो हम लोग ऐसा we try to pretend we are very humble, you know. हम बोलते हैं नहीं प्रभु, I think you are misunderstanding. मन में सोच रहे तू समझता नहीं मैं किससे बात कर रहा है, पता है तेरे को, अरे तुम पैदा नहीं होता तभी से मैं डिवोटी हूँ, ऐसा अपने को ऐसा इमीडिएटली ईगो आ जाता है, right? But see, this is a Lord completely detached. This is renunciation of Krishna. So finally, so now we are finally coming to the verse, आज का verse, right? इतना सब कहानी के बाद. So Krishna, Devaki and Vasudev, they felt that after Ugrasen was made the king, वो सब होने के बाद, they did the Upanayan samskar, the sacred thread and Gayatri mantra was given to them by Garga Muni. Garga Acharya was the family priest of the Yadus. So he had also given the name to Krishna and Balaram, and he gave them Gayatri mantra. After that, they were to go to the ashram of a guru to receive spiritual instruction, to receive knowledge, to learn, to be educated. Now, very interesting one minute. Background noise. Ishwar Prabhu, if someone is unmuting, please mute them. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so so in my background over here on Zoom, I have that picture of Sandipani Muni and with Krishna and Balaram with their heads shaved, right? So interesting thing, when Garga Acharya is the family priest and fully capable of educating Krishna and Balaram, why did they not go to him for learning? उनके आश्रम में क्यों नहीं गए? जा सकते थे, क्यों नहीं गए? They didn't go because Garga Acharya knows that they are Supreme Lord. Krishna and Balaram ये पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम भगवान है, उनको ऑलरेडी मालूम है. तो जब मालूम है वो सिखाएंगे क्या? अभी सोचो आपका प्रोफेसर आके आपके क्लास में बैठा तो आप उसको सिखा सकते हैं क्या? सर आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू टीच यू न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट. मुंह खोलने को डर लगता है प्रोफेसर के सामने, हट, राइट, लाइक दैट. सो कृष्णा डिडंट वांट दैट. ही वेंट फ्रॉम मथुरा टू उज्जैन, Avanti Desh, which is quite far. Ujjain is in MP and Mathura is in UP. So it's a long distance. He went all the way there to the ashram of Sandipani Muni, because Sandipani Muni was also a pure devotee, wonderful, teacher, but he didn't exactly know who is Krishna Balaram. He would have taught them as students. So they went there and there they received formal education from Sandipani Muni. Now it's very interesting. Srimad Bhagavatam explains what was taught. So, whoever is interested can make a note. 10th Canto, 45th chapter, verse 34, 35 and 36. 10th Canto, 45th chapter, verse 34, 35 and 36. In these three verses, it is described what Sandipani Muni taught to Krishna and Balaram and all the others, right? So I'll just quote over here. Okay, so it's very interesting. You all must all hear this. Yeah. Yeah. So Krishna and Balaram, they learn the following. Okay. In the verse 34, in 33 it says, the best of Brahmanas, spiritual master Sandipani Muni was satisfied with their submissive behavior. ऐसा नहीं जैसा कोई वीआईपी का बच्चा आता है ना स्कूल में, वो ऐसा चौड़ा रहता है, मेरे को कुछ बोलने का नहीं क्या, टीचर को पहले बता मेरे को कुछ बोलने का नहीं, बड़े बाप का बेटा हूँ, right? They may not say it in so many words, but their attitude shows it. But Krishna and Balaram's submissive behavior, Sandipani Muni was very satisfied, and thus he taught them the entire Vedas together with their 6 corollaries and the Upanishads. He also taught them, now see what all things he has taught them. Okay, he also taught them the Dhanur Veda. Dhanur Veda is military science, how to fight. He taught them the Dhanur Veda. Then he teach with its most confidential secrets. Then the standard books of law, which is that Manu Samhita and the other Dharma Shastras. He taught them the Dharma Shastra. Then the methods of logical reasoning and philosophical debate. So what is called, the karma vimamsa and the logical argument, tarka, how to argue. So there is a whole field of study in our Vedic literature which is called tarka, how to argue, right? And Indians are very natural at it. हम तो argument के बाप है सब, सबको argue करना अच्छा लगता है, right? So anyway, so so this comes from this. There is a book, there is a field of study about tarka. Then he says sixfold science of politics. Sixfold science of politics. उसमें क्या है? Sandhi, making peace. Vigraha, war. Yana, marching. Asana, sitting tight. Dvaida, dividing one's forces. And Samshava, seeking the protection of a more powerful ruler. There are sixfold science of politics. So we have heard of Chanakya Niti. Everyone has heard about Chanakya and Chanakya Niti. Where is Chanakya getting his knowledge from? In Parampara, it is coming. He has also received it from here. All this information is available in our scriptures. We just don't have access to it. See, आजकल ना एक रिवाइवल हो रहा है. कहाँ पे हो रहा है? फेसबुक पे, लिंक्डइन पे, इंस्टाग्राम पे एक रिवाइवल हो रहा है. हिंदुत्व, सनातन धर्म, ये वो बोल रहे लोग, सब लोग, people are trying to show कि अरे हमारे टेम्पल्स देखो 1000 साल पहले बनाए गए थे, कितने सुंदर है, क्या है, so much science has gone into it, so much ये architectural wonder of the world, ये वो बहुत कुछ चल रहा है. lot of people are doing. अच्छी बात है, recognizing it, very nice. But we have to understand, lot of people are also there who make fun of this. ये क्या फालतूगिरी, ये पुराना चीज लेके बैठ गए, what you are talking. Education, talk about current education moving forward. But this is what is there in our previous Gurukuls. In India, there were lakhs of Gurukuls in India. Lakhs. This is before Macaulay came in 1835 and ensured that the Indian education system is systematically killed. This is what was being taught. Then it is described that Krishna and Balarama. Okay, so the next verse, this is verse 35 and 36, I told you, right? O king, those best of persons, Krishna and Balaram, being themselves the original promulgators of all varieties of knowledge. मतलब जो, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. He says that I am the source of Vedanta and I am to be known by the Vedas. I am the source of the Vedas and I am to be known by the Vedas, right? And Vedanta Krit, I'm the one who wrote it, I'm the one who's given it. So that person, they also are learning Vedas from Sandipani Muni. He says, they could immediately assimilate each and every subject after hearing it explained just once. So thus, with fixed concentration, they learned the 64 arts and skills in 64 days and nights. एक दिन में एक स्किल. अभी आप बोलेंगे हाँ ये तो मैं भी कर सकता है, उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात. कभी-कभी किसी को लगता है कि moment we tell something from scripture, no, we feel कि इसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात, मैं भी कर सकता है. But now I'll explain to you what those skills are. So we all थोड़ा perspective जरूरी ना, आपको समझना चाहिए कि क्या है. See, when we glorify our Vedic scriptures, 99.99% of us and 99% of the time we have no clue. All of us, किसी को पता नहीं. I know the Vedic scriptures, the source of all knowledge. But how source of all knowledge? क्या knowledge है उसमें? क्या लिखा है? I'll just tell you. Just to give you an example, okay? It is the following list comprises the six. So they have the disciples of Srila Prabhupada who have written the purport to this. They have done the hard work to collect this information and they have put it here. ये जो 64 arts Krishna and Balaram learnt in 64 days, उसका data दिया है. Number 1, Geetam, singing. Number 2, Vadyam, playing on musical instruments. Number 3, Nrityam, dancing. 4, Natyam, drama. These are all different arts which are mentioned over here, which were taught in a Gurukul. Now you imagine what is the Gurukul. Like today we have this vocational guidance. क्या बोलते हैं उसको हम लोग? वो जो कोहिनूर में होता है ना? हाँ? Vocational training. Vocational training में क्या करते हैं? Like, in our Govardhan Eco Village, we have something called Govardhan Skill Center, where, first they were 2-year course. In the first year, or I think first 6 months, they give them exposure to 40 different skills, 42 different skills. Plumbing, electrical, ये वो अलग 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 सब skills का थोड़ा 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 exposure देते हैं. And जिसको जो अच्छा लगा, next semester या next year में they specialize in that. That's how it is done. Maybe our Gurukul system was like that. They are giving them exposure to 64 arts, including singing, dancing, playing musical instruments, natyam, drama, alekyam, painting the face and body with alag alag, and I'll just read the translations. Painting the body with colored ornaments and cosmetics. Preparing 7. Preparing auspicious designs on the floor. Rangoli with rice and flowers. Making a bed of flowers. Coloring one's teeth, clothes, and limbs. Dyeing. Okay. Dyeing of clothes. Inlaying a floor with jewels. Which हम लोग के temple में Radha Gopinath temple might have seen the wooden floor. There is a marble piece inlaid in that. That's an art. And us marble piece के अंदर there are certain not jewels, not precious jewels, but kind of jewels inlaid in that. That's an art. That is also taught. Then covering a bed, ringing water pots. Okay, water pots go. Udaka ghatak, splashing with water, mixing colors, preparing garlands, setting a helmet on the head. How to set a helmet on the head? वो भी helmet, turban, वो भी एक art है, वो भी एक कला है. Then putting on apparel in a dressing room. How to dress? Decorating the earlobe. सोचो कर्ण पत्र भंगा earlobe को कैसे decorate करना है? बताओ. Women will be very interested. ये हमको भी बताओ यार, ये क्या है, इसमें क्या चक्कर है, right? So this is also there. Then many others like this. Applying aromatics, decorating with jewelry, jugglery. There are circus clowns who do juggling. Jugglery. Okay. The art of disguise, sleight of hand, magic. Hasta lagavam, sleight of hand, which is magic. Preparing various varieties of food, delicious food. Okay, so even cooking. हमको हमारे स्कूल में, in my school, we were taught cooking. और हम लड़के थे, हमको क्या, तभी तो it was like very clear, man, woman, it was not like today's society, right? आज तो एकदम very sensitive, very careful, you refer to woman, a man, he, she, वो सब बहुत confusing हो गया है अभी. But anyway, हमको भी कुकिंग सिखाया गया था स्कूल में. हम सोचे आपको क्यों कुकिंग सिखा रहा है भाई, हमारी माँ बना दी खाना, हमको क्यों सीखना है? आई एम ग्लैड तभी सीखा, अभी कुछ तो मेरे को 4 आना 8 आना आता है because of that, right? So cooking, right? Then so on, right? So preparing palatable drinks, needlework and weaving. We were taught needlework in my school. Okay, I still know how to do few stitching. And so on. Puppets, banana, playing on a lute, making and solving riddles, reciting poems for verse as a trial of memory or skill, uttering statements difficult for others to answer, reciting books, enacting short plays and writing anecdotes, so on and so forth. There's 64 of these. Go to the purport of this verse, 10, 45, 35, 36. All 64 are mentioned. So when we say our Vedic system, our Sanatan style, our Gurukul style of teaching was glorious, please believe it. Don't be ashamed of your culture. Don't be doubtful. अपने mind में doubt आता है कि यार ये लोग कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं कर रहे हैं क्या? नहीं, कोई, we are not even scratching the surface. Yeah, today this is all gone. Many of these are gone. The people who did sculptors, what kind of, ये आते रहते हैं ना WhatsApp पे, Facebook पे आते रहता है कि क्या अजीबो गरीब sculpting किया है, एक के अंदर एक चीज sculptor, and ridiculous. Today that skill doesn't exist. It was there 1,000 years back. So to believe that is all true. So like this, we have to understand that even the skills that are there, Krishna only can show such, such amazing scholarship. To learn 64 skills like this in 64 days is impossible for anyone, but he learned. And then in this period, okay, so now there's no time, so I'll not get into this, but I want to end early. We're trying to end by 8:15, 8:20. I'll try and end. So after all this, right, after they finished all their education, they come before Sandipani Muni and ask, Gurudev, what can I do for you? What Guru Dakshina can we give? Now Sandipani Muni by now knows that ये कोई ऐसे अरे गेरे बच्चे नहीं है. This is Supreme Lord. I am so fortunate I had the opportunity to serve them by giving them knowledge. Whereas their source of all knowledge, still they, they took knowledge from me. What a wonderful service I had. He's very grateful. So he says, my son, he had gone to play near Prabhashetra, near the ocean, and the ocean consumed him and never came back. Can you please bring him back? मतलब अगर गुरु दक्षिणा मांगना है तो क्या गुरु दक्षिणा मांगना है, right? He is like coming from royal family, could ask for anything. But what he asked, my son who died, pata nahi when he died. Bhagavatam doesn't give the details. My son who died, please bring him back. The impossible task. But still, Krishna says, consider it done. Immediately, Krishna Balaram get on a chariot. They go to Prabhashetra. They go to the ocean. And the representative of the ocean comes in front of them. They said that, please, our Guru has asked for this. We want the son of the Guru back. So the ocean representative, he comes in front. And now, in the purport to that verse, in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that people in modern day, they may say, "Ye kya bakwas hai? What is this ocean ka representative?" Kuch bhi likhte hai Bhagavatam. So they are saying this in the purport, that people may feel, modern Western philosophers may feel, even we will feel, because nowadays Indians think like Western philosophers. We have no faith in our own scripture, right? So they are saying that they explain that what is the meaning of this. He says that when we say America voted against this in United Nations, so did America vote? Who voted? A representative voted, right? So he says same way ocean ka bhi representative hota hai, who represents all the living entities in the ocean, who represents the power of the ocean. That person came before Krishna and said that, Dekho, I have not taken your Guru's son. There is a demon in the water. His name is Panchajana. That Panchajana, you go to him, he has, captured your Guru's son. So they go dive into the water. Krishna and Balaram dive into the water and they find this Panchajanya. And this Panchajanya, he has a conch attached to his body. He's a sea creature. And they kill him and they see that the son of, it is mentioned like this, the son of his Guru was not there in his body also. So Krishna just takes the conch shell. And promptly from there, from the ocean, where do they go? They go to the place where Yamraj resides. The description is given. They immediately go to Yamloka. And in Yamloka, what is happening? All different varieties of torture are going on there, right? Because it is a hellish planet. And जिन्होंने पाप किया है इस दुनिया में, उनको वहाँ पे punishment मिल रहा है. So when they go there, Krishna goes there and he blows this conch Panchajanya. This Panchajanya is also referred to in Bhagavad Gita. Panchajanya Rishikesho Devadatta Dhananjaya, right? So thank you. So this is mentioned that Panchajanya conch Krishna plays in the Bhagavad Gita also before the war started, right? So that conch he blows. And when he blows the conch, what is the effect? I'll just quickly run through. It says the hell known as Asipatravana lost the sharp sword-like leaves on its trees. The hell named Raurava became free of its Ruru beasts. The Bhairava hell lost its fearfulness. And all cooking stopped in the Kumbhipaka hell. Cooking means, kaun cook ho raha hai wahan pe? The people who have performed sinful activities are being cooked in oil there. Right? So we have to think, थोड़ा हमको भी सोचना चाहिए कि कितना पाप करके हम लोग कितना, we are really pushing the limit, be careful. So the cooking stopped and their sinful reactions eradicated. All the inhabitants of hell attained liberation and approached the spiritual world. So Yamraj comes before. He says, sir, what can I do for you? He knows that big boss has come. Right? So then, क्या करूं आपके लिए? So Krishna says, oh, son of Sandipani Muni, he has come here. आप प्लीज उनको दे दो. Now, son of Sandipani Muni means उनका शरीर त्याग के तो पता नहीं कितना टाइम हुआ है. At the most, his subtle body is there in Yamloka because of whatever sinful reactions he may have done. Yamraj presents the full-bodied son of Sandipani Muni, and that boy, they put him on his chariot and they immediately go back to Sandipani. So very all casual. Aram says they just do this. They go to Yamloka, they bring the boy, they bring him back, and they come to Sandipani Muni and they pay obeisances. They say, "Dear Gurudev, you wanted this, we have brought your son. What else can we do for you?" Then what Sandipani Muni says is very interesting. So this pastime teaches us two things, right? That Krishna and Balram went to Yamloka and they brought back a dead person to life. So Prabhupada mentions, in the purport of Krishna book, he says that to bring someone back from dead is not possible in this world. जो मर चुका है, चलो जो अभी अभी मरा है, थोड़ा उसको फाइब्रिलेटर से थोड़ा शॉक वॉक देके शायद you may bring them back for few moments or few months, few years maybe. But once they died few years back, body जल गया है, उनको वापस कौन ला सकता है? नहीं ला सकता. Only Krishna can bring. And similarly, person who's died, to take them out of the cycle of birth and death, only one person can do. Mukunda. Lord Mukunda can do this. Mukti Data iti Mukunda, the one who gives Mukti Da, one who gives liberation. That is Krishna. That is Mukunda. Only he can do this. So Prabhupada says this one point. Second point, he says, the Lord never forgets the service that anyone has done. We discussed earlier, Devaki has done some service. He glorifies her. Here, Sandipani Muni has done some service for him. The Lord doesn't forget. And there is great hope in it for all of you and for all of us. What is that? If we perform devotional service, we are never the loser. Bhakti, this path of bhakti, we may feel कि sentiment है, क्या बड़ी बात है? No. This sentiment is the way to attract the heart of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Krishna says, by bhakti is the only way you can know me. So if we perform devotional service, the Lord never forgets. Right? And finally, Sandipani Muni says, my dear boys, you too have completely fulfilled the disciples' obligation to reward his spiritual master. Indeed, with disciples like you, what further desires could a guru have? क्या मतलब आप मेरे समक्ष हो, मुझे और क्या चाहिए, right? He says, "Oh heroes, now please return home. May your fame sanctify the world and may the Vedic hymns be ever fresh in your mind in this life and the next." Thus receiving their guru's permission to leave. See, the Lord also, when he comes on this earth, he accepts a guru. Supreme Lord who knows everything. सब मालूम है, फिर भी he accepts a guru. Because that is the way of the world. He sets the example. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tad tad evito rajana sayad pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Krishna says in the Gita that as great men act, simple men follow. So Krishna acts like this, so we have to also follow. They receive the Guru's permission to leave, and the two lords return to their city on the chariot, which moves swiftly as the wind and is sounded like a cloud. So like this, after completion of their education, they go back to Mathura. We will stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I am very thankful to all of you for joining today. I just want to tell one more thing over here. These books over here that have been kept here. See, all this knowledge which is there, right? Of the Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so many books are there, Vedic scriptures. They have largely been inaccessible to the world. You all agree with that? Inaccessible. Sanskrit language में वो ब्राह्मण लोग के पास पढ़ा है, हमको मालूम नहीं किधर है, right? We never had access to it. But by the contribution of Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, he took the pain to translate all these books into English language, and then his disciples translated into Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Oriya, Bengali, Telugu, and so many other languages, all some 40, 50 languages across the world. His disciples have done that. Why? So that this knowledge is democratized. It is available to everybody. There is no ऊंच नीच. अरे तू कौन है? कौन से गोत्र का है तू? नहीं तो हमारे मंदिर में नहीं आ सकता. ISKCON is not like that. It's very open. We allow anyone to come. Anyone can come. Anyone can hear. Anyone can pay obeisances to the deity, have prasad happily and go home. But these books have simplified that knowledge and made it accessible to all of us. So for the pleasure and service of all the people who have come here today, we have restarted our library facility over here. So during the announcement, our Brahmani Prabhu will explain what is the system. If you want to borrow a book, you can borrow a book and you can take it home. And next time when you come, you bring it back. Okay, any book, whatever you like. Okay. Yes. So I end here. Thank you very much. US. Okay. Oh, really? Thank you. Thank you. So, Prasanna Mataji and Shiva Prabhu. Thank you. So, we are very grateful to Prabhuji and Mataji. They are very kindly sponsored the prasadam feast that we will have after this. Let us express our deep gratitude and our prayers to Shri Radha Gopinath for their family to progress in Krishna consciousness by loudly chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari. Thank you very much. So, shall we take few questions? One or two questions. Anyone has any questions or comments? Anyone would like to contribute anything? Yes, yes.
As Krishna came as a eighth child in the devotees.
Yes.
He could have come also the first child.
Yes.
Just because to show others also common masses that even the so-called detachment of the Vasudev was so great that he offered his first child.
Yeah.
Just to show other people also that even upbringing child, we should be not attached to them.
Yes.
Just doing our responsibility. He could have come as a first child also.
Yes.
And could have killed Kamsa.
Yes.
But he came as an eighth child.
Yes.
Just to show them how pain or how the Vasudev was so detached even after upbringing child.
Yeah.
So was that intention?
No, actually there is a story. There's a back story के अंदर story. Right? The Bhagavatam is full of this, story के अंदर back story रहता है. हर character का एक back story रहता है. So even the 6 children who were born before, Balram and then Krishna, right? There were 6 children who were killed by Kamsa mercilessly. Then Balram came, and Balram was construed as a miscarriage, and he was transferred to the womb of Rohini, who was staying with Nanda Maharaj in Gokul. So these 6 children were actually Maruts. They were demigods who were cursed to take birth as the sons of, first as the sons of, as Kalnemi. As the sons of Kalnemi, who is a demon. They were cursed to take birth there. And they were given a choice. Okay, you will not be born as sons of Kalnemi, you will be born as sons of devotees, but you will be killed by Kalnemi in his next life as Kamsa. So that is the story. So पहला उनका उद्धार होना था, उसके बाद बलराम, उसके बाद कृष्ण. That's the story. Right now? Remember? Right? Any other questions, comments? Yeah, so Mataji is asking the question that Krishna, is a supreme lord, but he performed his duties and he showed everything, all the opulences he showed, including renunciation. So how do we understand? So actually, the scripture gives an understanding to us that how we can live according to Varna and Ashram. Actually, in this entire section of this chapter, Krishna he touches upon Varnashram also a little bit. And he is talking, I think to Vasudev and Devaki, he touches upon that. So this Varnashram is the what do you say? It is the scientific division of society as per your spiritual advancement and as per your qualities and as per your skills. So basically, if we are following the Varnashram system, okay, automatically it is designed such that by and by we become more and more renounced over a period of time, and we start taking more and more towards spiritual life. So that's the design of Varnashram system. If we just follow that, then we are safe. So a spiritual life is not about renouncing this world. That's a very important point to realize. Spiritual life, Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita Does Arjun wanted to renounce? Arjun बोला पापा मेरे को नहीं चाहिए, मैं तो संन्यास ले रहा, मैं भाग रहा है, मुझे चाहिए ही नहीं ये सब. Arjun wanted to renounce. What did Krishna tell him? No, don't do it. He says, you stay here, you do your duty, but do it for me. कर्मण्येवा अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. यद करोषि यद अश्नासि यद जोषि ददासि यद तपस्यसि कौन्तेय मद कुरुष्व मद तद कुरुष्व मद अर्पण. He says, do it for me. Whatever you do it for me. So Bhagavad Gita doesn't teach us to renounce the world. It teaches us to be in the world. Fight your battles. Krishna tells in the 8th chapter that, what is that? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha. Yuddhacha mam anusmara yuddhacha. Sarveshu kal, at all times, thus at all times, fight your battles. Whatever battles are there in your life, fight them. Don't run away. But mam anusmara yuddhacha. Remember me, do it for me. That is the central message of the Gita. Then even if you are 80 years old, 90 years old, you are doing your duty as a 90-year-old. 90-year-old का क्या duty है? बैठे रहो, हरि नाम जपा करो, सुनो हरि कथा सुनो पूरा दिन, sleep, give love to the descendants. That's it. और कोई duty नहीं है उनका. But someone who is 50 years old, 40 years old, 30 years old, 20 years old, we have different duties. You have to work, you have to earn money, you have to take care of our children, of our families. Do your duties. No one is saying run away from your duties. Do your duties, but do it with consciousness. Do it with Krishna consciousness. That is what Gita teaches us. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki jai, Gita Gaur Premanandi, Hare Hare. We'll do Kirtan for 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Just announce up.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming today's satsang. So we have small announcement before we take up the Prabhuji takes up the kirtan. You may be aware, HPCL people, devotees must be aware that yesterday we lost our EDHR, Abhishek Dutta. So he passed away due to cancer. His wife used to come and attend our satsang. Many times she came and then she was sitting there